us a little bit about your feelings going into your first game here at Liberty, and we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, well, there's some excitement. I said yesterday there's still some anxiousness right now because I don't we're not completely ready for the game. So as a coach, I'm a little anxious. Hopefully, I'll get to where I'm nervous. That'll be a good thing. That means I feel like we're prepared for it. But as a coach, you try not to look too far ahead because you're focused on with your team and the things that you need to do to get ready not only for the game but really the season. But as we're getting closer here, our staff's excited about it because this is for the majority of us the first time we ever get the chance to run out and home. So it's something we're looking forward to.
You pleased with your team's energy and effort so far here this week? Now that you've been in the game preparation.
Yeah, this is practice. What is today? All right, what's that?
Tuesday.
So it's number 2 for us. But I think since last week, our energy, the attitude has been really good. Obviously yesterday was spirited, which is expected. The thing that we've got to continue to harp on is I think our guys understand what it's going to take from an energy and the attitude that we have to play with. We got to continue to harp on some details and some of those things, the discipline things that need to play at a high level consistently. But I've shared with them the last few days. I really like the attitude they've brought to practice.
You've had almost a week now with your QB1 going with your first team offense. Do you feel like they're starting to click and get on the same page there?
I think we're making progress. Obviously, when you're playing an opponent, you put your game plans in. So the plays might not be that much different, but there's intricacies that you have to, whether it's a certain checks or some of those things. So we've been trying to do as much as we can there to get them as comfortable. We're way better than we were last week. Not where we want to be yet for that, but that's why you practice.
When the energies are this high going into game week, do you ever find that you have to kind of reel the guys back a little bit just so you can focus on the discipline aspects of the game like you mentioned?
I wish we could have to reel them back. Most kids aren't that way. And so I do like what our attitude has been, but we could always be even, more into it, like coaches are. We think we're ready to play all the time. Players don't think that way as much. Some do. There's certain ones you got, hey, can you slow down a little bit? But majority don't think that way. But if you feel like as a team that they understand what it takes to practice every day at a high level, then you can't harp on those other things. Right now, we're still doing both, but the last week has been good for the effort as far as that standpoint.
You had all this time trying to install your offense. Do you feel like they're as comfortable with it as you hope they would be at this stage? Do you feel like they have a pretty good grasp of what you're asking of them at this point?
Yeah, we've not, installed tons of things. I think the thing as coaches, what we have to fight is them just understanding it's in the nuances of it. Like, oh, we can do this, and we can't do it because they're not ready for that. And so for us, I think we have to look in and say, hey, what can we do? We might not be able to do what we want to do, but what can we do? What kind of players execute, and let that be enough. I think we have made strides in understanding what we're trying to do with it. But it also is going to be brand new for them all, and there's certain things that we want to do, but we just can't. And so that's why we're trying to put together the best game plan for what our guys can accomplish and play well. And I like where we've headed in that direction.
Do you and your family have any traditions on game day?
We've had so many different, over the last few years, so many different games on different days and all those things. Afterwards, there's certain things afterwards you try to do. If you win, obviously if you lose, you won't be around me at all. But I'm sure we have one, but I couldn't think of any.
It's game one for your team, but also game one for Bowling Green. They do have the same head coach they've had the last few seasons. How much can you rely on what they've done on film last year, or is it, a little bit of anxiousness for you too, as far as like the unknowns of what they could be trying to do as well?
Well, they do have a new defensive coordinator now. He's been there with them, so our expectations are they're going to be who they are, what they've shown since the coach has been there. I'm sure they're going to have little changes here or there, but what they're about, that's what they're about. They're a physical team. They like to run the ball and do a lot of different personnel offense and defensively very aggressive. And then special teams, they did a good job at a couple of categories last year. They were top 25 in special teams. So I think they're a very aggressive mindset. So we don't expect that to change much. And so I think I think we have a good idea, at least what we feel who they're going to be. Now, there's different players and different people doing it. And so once they're here, then, this guy's playing this position instead of this position, that's the things that you have to figure out on game day and how to adjust.
Scott Leffler said yesterday that he wouldn't announce his quarterback till Friday or Saturday.
No, he's taking one after me.
Yeah. That said, being on the other end of it, how much of an advantage is that for him or disadvantage is that for you in preparation?
Well, if your quarterbacks are completely different styles, then I think it's a huge advantage. Meaning, hey, one guy's one way, one guy's the other. There's two different things you have to typically prepare for, and so I think it does make it a little more challenging from a standpoint of you want to try to have an understanding of who the guy is and maybe what he's good at and what he's not. So it does make it a little bit more difficult. But as a defense, you're preparing just like they are. They're preparing for what we've shown the last whatever years offensively. No matter who's playing the quarterback is, they know it's not going to change that much. Then once they find out who it is, and then there's certain things that we want to try to do with him that we might do with somebody else that they'll adjust to.
And some of the constants I've noticed, just looking at stats, the last 3 years, where previously success has been like, you guys limit turnovers or win the turnover battle. You get 4 or 5 yards of carry in the run game, and you get after the quarterback. If I missed something, please throw it in there. But how good do you feel about those 3 facets about where your team is now heading into this year?
Well, no matter what scheme you have, if you can do those things, you have a chance to win. Limiting turnovers is the biggest thing that we try to focus on, because if we can control the ball, that means their defense is not out there as much. And so when they are out there, they play hard and get after that quarterback, which is a big deal. And then if we can run the ball for yards of carry like that, then that opens up a lot of your play action, a lot of the different things that gives you a chance at explosive plays. And so that's the recipe that we've used, that we've been able to have some success with, and that's what we'll get to here. I have no doubt. Our biggest concern right now is because it is new for a lot of the guys, how we respond when they give us a different look, and we know what to sort of go to, but can our guys execute how to do that and still take care of the ball and some of those things. So, but that's been our push. That's our emphasis that we've been harping on since we got here, and I know our team understands that. Now we got to go out and do it.
Right now, are you just ready for Saturday to be here? Would you like to? I know you want to get through these next few practices, but is it, you're tired of the waiting, the talking, and the doing? You just want to get out there and kick it off?
You know what? No, I'm actually. I think we still need some days. And what I mean by that is just to clean up some of the things that need to be fixed, where we can go in there and feel, hey, if we'll go handle our business, then I feel good about coming out and victory. We're not there yet from a team wise. I'm not saying we're far off, but there's some things we've got to clean up, and some situations and different things that come along in the game that we need to have 100% confidence that we can do. I know our guys believe that they can get it done. I want to make sure they execute it in practice, that we can see that. So give me a couple more days.
There's skilled players for Bowling Green that kind of give you some unrest, if you will, or just they could make this thing challenging on Saturday. What really stands out?
I do think they've got some good skill guys. And the challenge for us is they're also using them in the special teams as well. And so from a kick game standpoint, kick returners and their punt return guys, they can really cause havoc from that. So that's something that we have to do a really good job of. And then I think they've got some guys that if you put the ball, if they get the ball in space, they can make you miss and do some things. And so we're going to have to do a good job of, from a defensive standpoint, of bending but not breaking. And what I mean by that is not give up any big plays. If they earn it on us, they earn it. But the worst thing that you want as a coach is you give up an explosive play, a 70, 80-yard touchdown because somebody busted or something like that. Those are demoralizing. If people earn it on you and they just can take the ball down the field consistently, then hey, we'll tip our hat from that. But we don't want to do anything to give them free stuff. And but they have guys that can, if we're not paying attention, they can do that to us.
All right, one more question.
You mentioned injuries being a concern last week. Do you feel like you've been able to get some guys back and getting closer to being ready for game one?
We are. I think some guys are shoring up and health-wise, and there was never a doubt that they'd be able to play. The biggest question mark we had is what would they be able to do from a execution standpoint because they've missed some of the timing things in some of those. And so we're obviously working hard on trying to get that to where it needs to be. And so, our anticipation that, hopefully things go well the rest of the week, that we should have as full a complement of teams that is available.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time.
Thank
this
you.
morning.